Pure ecstasy once again for the Tigers as they hand a mauling to promotion rivals Preston North End. Hello there and welcome back to the HullCityFanCentral YouTube channel. Today I'll be going through the fantastic 3-0 win that we have just witnessed Hull City grab on an away trip to Deepdale. A game that did end up having a bit of controversy around it with some red card and some fights going on. Of course, we'll get to that in a minute. But first of all, start off with how Hull City managed to grab themselves what I believe is their 6th away win in a row in the league, which is an absolutely fantastic feat, and boost Hull City up to 4th in the table. 4th in the championship table. Apologies, I knocked my mic there out of excitement. It was Liam Miller. It was Akin Famolo to grab his first Hull City goal. And of course, it was big Ollie McBurney to grab the 3 goals for Hull City. We'll talk about each of them individual goals in a second, but leading through it, Hull City, a really good performance from start to finish, applying that forward pressure and not letting up. We've seen time and time again for City this season, maybe not a bad thing to say, because there we are in a situation where we're 4th in the championship table. We're maybe looking at a date with destiny to get promoted back to the Premier League. But we are talking about a side that have, at some points this season, eased up on the pressure. They've gone 1-2-0 up and they've gone, all right, we'll sit back. Well, not sit back, but we'll more play on the defensive element and we'll try and see if we can hold out whatever the opposition have to throw at us. Whereas this team, they were battling through, and it could very easily have been 5, maybe 6-0 at some point throughout that second half, with the chances that they created, the applying that pressure, the forward-thinking mindset, that willingness to get into the attack, willingness to get forwards, willingness to try and try new chances, try and get the ball into exciting areas, play good balls into the box, and ultimately, Preston had nothing to show for themselves today. Hull City had all of the pedigree to show of a side that is worthy of being up within these playoff places. Preston North End did not have that quality today. We've seen it for Preston North End this season. They've been a bit touchy at the moment, having a bit of a rough spell, as we detailed in the prediction video yesterday. But this has continued for them, and credit to Hull City for capitalising on that and showing who has the true class today. Of course, we were undecided in 2-2 draw at the MKM Stadium earlier this season, but we grabbed the 3-0 win in the game where it matters, what I called yesterday a possible promotion 6-pointer. Well, it seems like it might be that, as Hull City boost themselves up to 4th after Millwall grab a loss to Coventry City. Fantastic result, this one being not just for the factor of where it puts us in the playoff places, not just for the factor that it's against a side that are in them playoff places, they're in the race to try and maybe get promoted this season, but it's also a credit to this squad. We've detailed the past couple of days now. This squad depleted through injury severely. We are on the depths of having academy lads starting positions at this point. We have quite a few academy lads on the bench, but there is some players coming back. We saw Joe Gelhardt get some minutes. We saw, of course, you getting his first minutes for Hull City. And we'll talk about that in a minute as we go into the goal tallies for the Tigers in this one. But it was the credit to the entire team on this one. Once again, what I said on the Southampton win just a few days ago, it's a credit to the entire team. Everyone that went out there, everyone coach-wise that's been behind the scenes working with the squad, Sergei Kievich, the whole team has really put in a solid performance. And it's a credit to when we pick up these results, these wins away. We always talk about on the channel, a draw away, that's what you're aiming for. If you grab a win, that's even better. You can do the job of winning at home, but going on the road, a draw is sort of what you're aiming for. Grabbing wins, and what I believe I got told at some point throughout the game was 6 wins in a row on the road. I'm quickly going to check that for you now, just to make sure that I'm not chatting out of my proverbial rear end. Yes, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. No, it isn't. It's 3 wins in a row, apologies, but we're undefeated on the road since November, that QPR loss. So however many away games that's been. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 games unbeaten on the road. Apologies, not win in 6. We drew one of them. But 5 wins, 1 draw out of the last 6 on the road, which has been an undefeated streak for the Tigers. And match that up with what we've been doing at the MKM Stadium. We've been having one of our best seasons at home in quite a few years now. Let's talk about the past couple of seasons where City couldn't even buy a win at the MKM Stadium. We're talking about teams a couple of seasons ago that were wearing away shirts at the MKM Stadium to try and win games in a relegation battle. But we're now talking about a side that is flourishing, that is really enjoying themselves. I compared them to that 2023-24 squad that was enjoying themselves through the large stretches of that season, enjoying playing football. Well, this squad is doing that. Yes, they are depleted on numbers wise, but the squad that is there, and when the players come back, they'll just feed straight into it, as we saw tonight with Joe Gelhardt getting back into it and looking like he could have scored a couple of times and assisted a couple of times as well. So it's really a full team effort, and I'm really, really happy with where this club is at the moment. Contrary to what we saw in the summer, my oh my, what a difference a couple of months make. I mean, to be fair, what a difference a couple of weeks make. Hull City have been pretty consistent throughout this season, but certainly we are enjoying the fruits of that labour right now. So let's dive in to them goals that I've been talking about. Liam Miller grabbed the first one for the Tigers, making that his second of the season. And it was more to the credit of David Akintola, of all people. Of course, he's been having a bit of a nicer time at the moment, of course, grabbing the winning penalty goal in the FA Cup game. And today, an assist, a brilliant assist. He pretty much ran the full length of the field like his shoes were on fire, and then laid a nicely weighted ball to Liam Miller across the box so he could just convert that one into the back of the net. Easy as you like it, 1-0 City. And I mean, the scoring could have stopped there because Preston didn't reply. But Hull City grabbed 2 more fantastic goals. Akinfenwa grabbed his first for Hull City. It was an assist from Ollie McBurnie. Came from a corner, got chested down by Ollie McBurnie. He just laid it off to Akinfenwa inside the box. A nice curling effort to get it quite above bodies and stuff in the box. It was an ambitious effort, but he found it into near enough the top corner and made that 2-0 going into the half-time period. And then coming into the second half, Yu Hirakawa came on and he produced ecstasy, is all I can describe it, in his first couple of touches. His first touch control, couple of touches later, he produces a peach of a ball into the box. What Ollie McBurnie scores with a bicycle kick. I've not even talked about Ollie McBurnie scoring a bicycle kick. That's how much passion there is surrounding this club at the moment. We talk about the Chelsea game upcoming next month. Well, Hull City, they're doing a really, really good job to rebuild this club, rebuild the foundations of a quality club, a quality brand as well, from what we saw where the Alams tore it down and everything like that years ago. We're talking now 4 years under Adjan. We are building it back up. The vibes are feeling immaculate at the moment. And I mean, Ollie McBurnie, bicycle-ish kick to grab the third goal for Hull City, and that makes Ollie McBurnie now 11 goals in all competitions, 10 in the Championship, tying him with Ollie McBurnie, tying Ollie McBurnie with Joe Gelhardt for the most goals in the league for Hull City this season, top scorers in the league. And I believe, unless things have changed, they are the tied second in the Championship on goals scored, which is fantastic. But there is more for this game. Of course, as I said in the intro, it kind of got torn down towards the end of the game. There was a red card for a Preston man who had just been served a big suspension, I think a 10-game suspension, and then he goes and headbutts John Lundstrom. So John Lundstrom gets headbutted. He gets a yellow card for this. I'm not 100% sure why, but the player who headbutted him does get shown red. Osmacic, or however you pronounce his name, gets shown red for headbutting John Lundstrom. And then the fights kind of started to begin in the dugout. From what I could see, I mean, the biggest thing that I saw was someone in a Preston jacket, which I can only presume was someone off the Preston bench, goes round and gets his arm around and near enough strangles one of Hull City's assistant coaches, of whom that assistant coach for Hull City gets shown red, and also I presume an assistant coach or some coach for Preston North End gets shown red. And a funny moment was actually a Preston man started going towards the dugout tunnel that was in the corner of the pitch, of course, and then the Hull City coach was sort of half chasing him down the line, which had like a nice little funny moment to this whole tension spilling. But there was quite a big clash of managers, of players as well. Everyone pretty much getting involved there on the touchline in the two technical areas. It seems to be more being led by Preston North End. So if there is going to be an inquiry, which there will be fines for this. We know that's the situation. We've seen that before with Hull City this season. There will be situations where they're going to be handing out fees, all that sort of stuff, but it should be heavier in the favour of Preston North End because Hull City were on the back foot in theory in this situation, but we know how the EFL decide to play it. We've seen it time and time again, even this season, where Hull City being handed the bigger fee to pay because I don't know, they just really mustn't like Hull City, I guess. So let's go into this Hull City squad that managed to produce a fantastic display against Preston North End. So between the six, it was Ivor Panda grabbing the third clean sheet for Hull City. I believe it's the third clean sheet for Hull City this season. Nevertheless, third in the last five, That's what I mean. Third in the last 5 clean sheets for Ivor Panda, and a fantastic fantastic goalkeeping performance from him. I mean, he didn't have a lot to do, but he commanded his area nicely when he had to do so. Some chances getting up, doing the job that Ivor Panda has been slowly progressing, and that we've seen pretty much a good, consistent basis over the past couple of games. Ivor Panda, good job, solid enough. Of course, I said, wasn't tested enough, and enough in a strong capacity. Louis Coyle, decent job out on the right back as is standard. Louis Coyle putting out a routine Louis Coyle performance. I seem to say that after every reaction, every vlog, whatever. Louis Coyle putting in a Louis Coyle performance. But I think that's the only way to really describe what he provides for you in a game. Gets forwards down the line, occasionally puts some alright balls into the box, gets back to his defensive job, willing to put his body on the line pretty much for the club, and is there doing the job. I mean, fun-worthy note, Louis Coyle, so Hull City, Preston North End, last time that we won by 3 goals or more was a 4-1 win on the first day of the 2021-22 championship campaign. We was back in the league after winning the League One title. Louis Coyle is the only Hull City player in that squad, starting 11 and on the bench, that is still at the club, and he started that game, starts this game, so worthy note there for Louis Coyle, of course, Hull City's skipper. Moving over to the vice skipper, that being Charlie Hughes, the Hughes and the U chants are going to be ringing out the MKM Stadium, I feel, on Saturday. But Charlie Hughes putting another routine performance for him. Really, really strong defensive performance there from Charlie Hughes. Of course, sliding in, making perfect interceptions and playing the right balls forward. Really commanding the game from the back, Charlie Hughes in this one. John Egan started the game alongside Charlie Hughes, and John Egan, another solid performance from him. Really putting his body on the line. Maybe, depending on your outlook, should have maybe been handed a second yellow for his challenge, where he seemed to come off a little bit worse for wear, was stumbling around a little bit, so hopefully there's nothing too serious in that. Of course, we're waiting to hear about the Semi Ajayi update, so John Egan, hopefully it's nothing too serious there. But of course, we've got Cathal McCarthy, so it swings and roundabouts, but John Egan putting in a nice performance there. Akinfenwa played the full game at left back, despite me thinking that Matty Jacob might come in to start this one. I mean, credit to Akinfenwa, grabbed himself his first Hull City goal, and put in a better shift at left back. I think he's slowly progressing and improving. Of course, he's not routinely a left back. He has played there, I believe, a couple of times for Sheffield Wednesday, his previous club, and of course, he has played a couple of times now for Hull City, filling in for the injured Ryan Giles. Matt Crooks, the Tree, the Terminator, however you want to call him. Solid job within that midfield and really commanding the game. Didn't play the full game, was subbed off in the 68th minute for John Lundstrom, but still saving him. He'd be ready to go. Of course, he'll play through anything. He'll play through a broken leg. He'll chop his arm off. He can play through anything. Matt Crooks, it seems. And so he'll be there ready to fight on Saturday. But another solid outing for Matt Crooks. Regan Slater really pleased with what he provided for the squad defensively this game. Now, we've seen a couple of times this season at the attacking output from Regan Slater, what he's provided, maybe producing balls going forwards, but I was really impressed with what he provided for the squad, getting back, putting in really smart and excellent blocks and challenges, and playing a really, really good job as one of these sort of defensive-minded midfielders. So really nice there from Regan Slater. David Akintola started out on the right, and of course we've already talked about David Akintola on how fantastic his run down the line to produce the first one for Liam Miller. And of course, he backed that up with a pretty quality performance from David Akintola. Only played 47 minutes, went off with what could be maybe an injury or maybe was just a substitution, more on a precautionary matter. Of course, we'll hear all about this feeding out of the next couple of days, so stay tuned to the channel by liking and subscribing to hear about all of that. But David Akintola, another solid performance from him. Amir Hadzaimitrovic, really, really strong performance from him in the midfield. And I mean, he looked destined to try and grab his first Hull City goal a couple of times in this game, trying to get forwards. I think he was playing a bit more on the forward fronting mindset in this one, which I didn't mind, to be fair. I quite like that sort of little bit of a shift. He was playing a bit higher up the field. He was trying to get in amongst the attacks a bit more, maybe playing a bit more of that sort of high line press make, what am I trying to say? Pacemaker, press maker, whatever I'm trying to say. Trying to get things going, get the ball moving. So I really like that sort of differentiator role from Amir Hadzaimitrovic. Long may it continue if it's going to produce results. I mean, today we won 3-0, and I can only presume that Amir Hadzaimitrovic had some part to do in that, as every player does so. So nice performance from him. Liam Miller started out on the left. Of course, we can talk about his goal. We have done so. But Liam Miller, nice performance. Of course, his return to Deepdale did the sort of the muted celebration. Of course, being a long servant of Preston North End before, I say long servant, a couple of years servant of Preston North End before joining the Tigers. And of course, has become a bit of a fan favourite at Hull City since joining. But of course, doing the muted celebration as you probably would expect, especially someone like Liam Miller, but still a nice performance he put in on that left flank, playing 68 minutes likewise for Matt Crooks, but Liam Miller putting in a really nice performance once again for him on that left flank, getting in there, getting things going and really trying to get into those advantageous spots within the box as well. He's sort of trusting his crossing ability a bit more, but he's also trusting his ability to play a little bit more technical wise, which I'm really liking to see. And of course, Ollie McBurney, he's going to get my Man of the Match award. Why not? An assist and a goal on an away trip on a Tuesday night. It doesn't get much better than that, Ollie McBurney. So a fantastic performance from him. He only played 80 minutes, was subbed off for Joe Lindala, presumably due to this sort of squad rotation. We do have a game on Saturday against Swansea City, who managed to grab themselves I believe they won tonight. They were definitely winning at the point when I looked. Let me just quickly check. Yes, they won 3-1 against Blackburn. So a game against Blackburn, Swansea, who just won. Of course, rotational factor. We haven't got that many players as we have talked about to extent. So Ollie McBurney getting my Man of the Match award. We'll talk about the substitutes that came on. Cathal McCarthy came on for John Egan, and of course Cathal McCarthy. We're known what's seen from Cathal McCarthy. 4 substitute appearances, I believe, or 4 appearances in his last 5 games for Cathal McCarthy. So really nicely to see he's getting more minutes, especially kind of boost with the factor of the so many players that are out injured, of course, as well. Semi Ajayi, no matter what, if he's coming back or if he's going to be on the sidelines as well, I still think Cathal McCarthy will be seeing minutes coming his way for Hull City progressing forwards, which I'm really liking to see. John Lundstrom, really nice to see him back on the field once again. Of course, he managed to grab his first couple of minutes back from his second injury that he's had this season on Saturday, and nice to see him get some more minutes here. 68th minute he came on for Matt Crooks and helped sort of solidify out that midfield in them later stages of the game. Of course, was the man as well that sent Preston North End down to 9 men at the time. They had one man go off through injury and they couldn't replace him due to already expensing all of their subs, and then of course went down to 9 men at that point due to the red card. So nice performance there from John Lundstrom. Now Yu Hirakawa, or Hirakawa, or however you pronounce his surname, fantastic performance. I mean, what a debut to come on away and then in your first touches of the game produce a peach of a ball into the box that met Ollie McBurney. And I think Yu Hirakawa is going to, if he's not already a fan favourite, he is going to become a fan favourite. What he provided in this game, long may it continue. His technical work, keeping the ball at his feet, nimbleness, playing out on the right. I see why he didn't work at Bristol City. If they're not going to play them wingers, it's just not going to work. But he's going to work fantastically at Hull City. You welcome. And it's absolutely sublime what he produced out on that right. Even when he switched over to the left for a little period as well, he was just sort of commanding whenever he had the ball. He produced stuff. He said in his interview when he signed with Hull City yesterday that he's going to create chances. He's a bit of a playmaker. I think he might be more of a playmaker than anyone else on the squad. And that's saying stuff when we have the likes of Ryan Giles, who has got assists nearly in the double figures, probably will do by the end of the season, all things bearing. And you've got likes of Liam Miller and Mohamed Baloumi. I think Yu Hirakawa has a chance that if this performance that we saw coming on in the 47th minute tonight, if that's anything to go by, I think he could possibly be Hull City's certainly one of the top playmakers to put up amongst the names of your Ryan Giles, of your Liam Millers, of your Mohamed Baloumis. Fantastic performance from him. Now, Joe Gelhardt, really nice to see him back. His first minutes after missing out 8 games for the Tigers due to his injury that picked up in that 4-1 loss to Middlesbrough at the MKM Stadium. So really nice to see him back in action. And as I said throughout the video, he managed to pick up some chances. He could have scored. There was one effort that the keeper saved that went narrowly wide that he could have scored towards the end of the game. He had some chances as well where there was nearly assist-making opportunities. He got balls into the box as well. So really, really nice to see Joe Gelhardt back. A very, very welcome addition. And it's going to only spell more positive things for this attack that seems to be firing at the moment. 2-1 on Saturday, 3-0 today. What are we going to do against Swansea? 10-0? Who knows? And then the last sub to talk about is Joe Lindala coming on for Ollie McBurney. Didn't see an awful lot of Joe Lindala, sort of doing a bit of running forwards, but didn't see an awful lot to really truly comment on him in this one. The unused substitutes, of course, Dylan Phillips, the unused sub keeper. Matty Jacob, James DeBayo back on the bench there, of course, the former Leeds youth player that Hull City picked up earlier this January transfer window, and of course the academy lad that's seemingly being named on the bench as that substitute striker, I should say, Hugh Parker. Worthy note as well, no Kyle Joseph. Of course, he had a bit of a battering taken against him in the game on Saturday, so presumably it's just more of a precautionary matter. I believe he did travel with the squad. I think I did see him sat on the bench, so nothing too much to worry. But of course, I'll keep you updated on the channel as things develop surrounding Hull City. Of course, all of the transfer news and rumours and gossip. Toby Collier, that seemed like that might be coming our way very soon. No Casey Palmer in the squad, so it looks like he might be departing as well. So of course, I'll keep you updated with that and everything else Hull City-wise here on the Hull City Fan Central YouTube channel, so make sure that you like and subscribe. I'll have everything leading up to Saturday's game against Swansea City at the MKM Stadium and far beyond it as Hull City, and maybe, dare to dream, looking at a promotion case on their hands. Up the bloody Tigers! See you in the next video!